Spartans! What is your profession?
Yes, people, and we are back into our second part of Combat Sports. Over to the boxing side, Povetkin versus Whyte. A fantastic performance from Dillian. Got the job done against Povetkin. Rumble on the Rock.
Yes.
is what it was touted.
Exactly.
Fourth round stoppage in that fight. Truth, I'm gonna come to you first, as Dillian is your boy. Just talk to us about him getting revenge in his performance against Povetkin.
Vindication. Everyone wrote him off. It was a lucky punch. Now it's all been said and done. That first fight, forget about it. Lucky punch. It happened in heavyweight boxing. Dillian came out on Saturday with a point to prove, and he proved it. I'm glad he got the stoppage. I'm glad he's back on the road. We need characters like Dillian in the heavyweight scene when there's boring people like AJ and delusional people like Deontay Wilder and flipping alcoholics like Tyson Fury. We need real men like Dillian Whyte in that picture. I don't care. I do not care. He's a real guy. He's a real guy.
Are we done? Are we done?
Here we go. What have you got to say, Tooth? What have you got to say, mate?
I've got to rebuttal everything you've just said, bro.
When don't you?
First point, vindication. How the fuck is it vindication if it's 1-1 and each of them got a knockout? It's a draw, bruv. There's no vindication there.
Do you know what kind of 1-1 it is? Do you know when like Barcelona are playing like one of those rubbish sides, and then like that team is getting battered and Barcelona score first, but that team like scores a last minute equalizer? That's what it is. It's a one-sided 1-1. Dillian's got what, 3-4 knockdowns compared to his 1 KO? Come on, man.
Bruv, who gives a fuck about knockdowns, bruv? It's the result that counts, bruv. It's 1-1 with one knockout of each. And quite frankly, with that being said, you're talking about a guy who is well past it, over the hill. He shouldn't have even, I mean, that first fight should have been ended before Povetkin even landed that punch, which gets me to the point of a lucky punch. Like, again, bro, you got to stop with these cliches, bruv. This is not Rocky IV. Do you know what I mean? My man set that up, and again, like, come on, man, we break these fights down. Do you know what I mean? We have jokes as well, and I get you're having a bit of banter, bruv, but he set that punch up, bruv. He set that uppercut up, man. You know he was.
I know he set up. I'm saying
this because of that. He was throwing the hook all night long, so Dillian got used to blocking the hook, and then he threw a feint hook, which Dillian thought was gonna, he was gonna parry.
It was boxing 101, definitely.
Exactly,
it's boxing 101.
It's classic setting up traps, bruv. So anyone that's talking about, and I know you don't, I know it's all bad. I'm not directing this at you, but there's a lot of people out there that are saying shit like lucky punch. I'm like, get the fuck out of it. Like, for anyone that's ever sparred, that is a classic. Like, that is the one thing you're looking out for: patterns. Do you know what I mean? Understanding patterns and then setting your opponent up once he understands, like, oh, he knows I'm going to throw this. That it's a game of chess, bruv. And especially someone like Povetkin, who's been in the game for so long, Olympic level athlete, stellar amateur career.
200 fights.
Exactly, bro. Been in there with the best of them. Been in the upper echelons of this sport for decades. Do you know what I mean? So I can't buy the lucky punch.
No, I wasn't like that. In my true overall review of it, look, it wasn't a stellar performance in terms of what Dillian did. What I give real credit to is that he wasn't phased by the knockout. We saw what happened to AJ and Ruiz, and AJ was stopped, and it's not even like he was glazed over. Dillian, as you said rightly, Tooth, he looked like he was dead when he got KO'd. He was still for 10 minutes. It's a scary feeling when you get that. So to come back and to be as open as he was which surprised me a lot because I thought he was going to box a bit more. Was surprising, but he went back to what he was comfortable with, and that's with being a brawler. And I gave that loads of rating because the mental, like, your biggest enemy isn't the person across from you. Your biggest enemy is your own self. And he defeated that enemy, and I'm happy for it. It shows a lot of mental fortitude.
Can I just say with that, yeah, again, we alluded to this in the Francis and Stipe discussion, TJ, when we were talking about how is Stipe going to come back from this? Is this KO going to change the way he fights? Or, you know, does he come back and act like nothing ever happened? And then even when we were doing the pre-fight, remember when I was talking about last minute, Dillian changed his camp, and then they got him doing this whole brand new thing of trying to go out there and box, which is something that he's never done. And to deploy a game plan like that against someone as elite as Povetkin was just a bad idea. And we said, it's all in the pre-fight, we said, if Dillian's got a chance of winning this, he kind of has to go back to doing what he's been doing. And that's just to go out there and brawl and make it nasty, make it ugly. And he did, and it worked. And to his credit, it was a vicious knockout. But technically, I have to, and I hate saying this, bro, but I have to agree with the fucking truth, because it was ugly. It was nothing special. He just went out there and started windmilling punches.
That's a bit of an exaggeration.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he was good, man. Come on, he was behind the jab a bit.
Bro, did you see how lazy that jab was?
It's not saying it was the best jab. I'm not saying
in me personally, I didn't see any difference between what we saw Saturday night and the first fight, apart from the outcome. Because even in the first fight, he was behind the jab. Maybe he was trying to be a little bit more technical, which goes against it. I think the only difference was when he hurt Povetkin, he went back to the whole brawler mentality, but he still decided to stay calm, wait, be a little bit patient, stick behind the jab, and just wait for Povetkin to come to him. Because Povetkin was spaghetti legs from the first round, and I was like, what is going on?
And this is why I'm saying I don't care much about the performance, to be honest. Performance doesn't mean anything to me, because at the end of the day, Povetkin is not going to be fighting for any title soon. You know, he shouldn't be even be there. For me, this was more about Dillian Whyte than who he was facing. It could have been anyone across from there. I'm just glad that he's able to come back from such a vicious knockout. You know, that's the hardest thing. Ask Amir Khan. Amir Khan still hasn't recovered from Prescott's knockout for the whole of his career. Yeah. Once you get blamed like that, it changes.
Hold on, wait. Before Tooth, I'm gonna let you go. But that's because Amir Khan is fucking shit. Let's get that right. Before you say anything else.
Don't be disrespecting my boy like
But Tooth, go on.
Listen, first of all, a few points that I wanted to touch on there. With Amir Khan, it was actually before the Prescott fight. You remember when he was fighting for the Commonwealth?
And that was a knockdown, I swear. He still came back. That was a knockdown,
but his chin was gone, bro. Like, you knew from that point on, it's like, oh, this guy's quite. If you're getting sat down by Commonwealth level guys, and he did come, to his credit, he did come back and you know, finish the fight, but it was starting to show cracks, you know, and then those cracks turned into craters later on down his career. But he's still.
He never wanted to face Prescott again. I gave him nightmares.
Fair, but I mean, with that aside, you know, he was young in his career at that point. He was very green, and I think he moved up in weight as well. There was a lot of politics behind that as well. I think that was happening during Ramadan as well, where he was trying to fast at the same time as taking the fight as well. Which, whether you like it, bro, cutting weight has a lot of has a severe impact on your body before you go into a fight. Let alone trying to cut weight fast and then go into a fight. I mean, he was just stupid for doing that, in my opinion. But there, going back and then just touch upon what TJ said about, you know, I think you said that you didn't see much of a difference between the first and the second fight other than the outcome. Again, I have to disagree, bruv. I thought in this fight, Dillian was much more aggressive. From the opening round, he went out there for blood. Whereas, like you said, in the first fight, he was trying to be more technical and patient. But there were still gaping holes. In my opinion, that jab is still lazy. That jab was hanging bro, that jab was hanging out there like an Essex chick trying to catch a fucking Uber after a night out, bro.
Oh my Lord, bro.
Bro, it was out there, fam. I'm telling you. And again, we give a lot of ratings for that performance. But then, look, I have to throw my boy Deontay in the mix. Since
Wait, no. We'll get to him. We will get to him. Let's just finish up on Dillian. And the truth, and I are saying it was a great jab. He just boxed behind it because that's what he had to do.
Yeah,
that's it. Like, obviously, we know that jab's not going to work against the elite fighters. We know that, right? He's going to have to come up with a different game plan. But he did what worked, and he got the job done. And I think the other key factor in this is that he avoided the uppercut, which is his Achilles heel. Because obviously we saw it happen against AJ. Povetkin did it. Even in that Oscar Rivas fight, that's how Rivas dropped him with the uppercut in that fight. So he avoided that, and he managed to get Povetkin out of there, right? And credit where credit's due, he's back and he's in the mix amongst others. And now we can segue into where you believe Dillian Whyte goes next. There's two names that have been tied because he can't go for the White Door title. As much as he said, why should I wait, and blah, blah, blah. And he had some good points, actually, bringing up Brazil having a title shot when he should have never had it. What's the other one? Oh, I can't remember his name. It will come back to me. There's another guy that had a title shot and should have never had it as well. But where does he go? Does he go and fight Wilder, or is it the Oscar Ruiz fight that he takes? Where do you think he should go next?
Well, he should go to Eddie Hearn and say, like, look, you've already got a champion on your fucking roster. Why are you sending me out here to do all this? See, this is what I mean, bruv. They're all in cahoots with each other, bruv. He's complaining about 1,567 days, 48 hours, 76 minutes, and 29 seconds waiting for his fucking title shot. Yeah. But you've got a fucking champion on your roster who you'd already fought before in one of the biggest fights in recent UK boxing history. Like, bruh, am I the only one here trying to ignore the blatant writing on the wall here? Or are you being used as a fucking mule, yeah, to do all of this grimy work that Eddie Hearn's sending you out to do, putting you in there with people like Oscar Rivas and Scott Parker and Chisora and fucking Povetkin, where you've got a champion on your roster? Correct me if I'm wrong, but after the second Chisora fight, didn't AJ get in the ring? Didn't they have a face off? Didn't they have a stare down? Didn't they challenge each other? Like, bruh, why are you on Wilder's nuts? Do you know what I mean? Your promoter has a champion there. You have a beef with that champion. Tell me why no one has brought that shit up. And don't give me rankings. Don't give me mandatory.
Allow me to retort.
Listen, before you do, don't give me. Don't give me.
I'm not giving you ranking. It's more simple than that.
Yeah,
it's more simple than that. Look, at the end of the day, okay, he's fought AJ before and he's lost. Someone like Dillian, to be taken seriously, he needs a head. He needs a scalp. And there's only one scalp that is obvious that I believe that he's got the best chance against. And that is versus Wilder. Because...
Well, listen, fuck the because, yeah? After he beat Povetkin. No, I'm not trying to hear none of that, bro. Because after the... Listen, I'm just asking questions here.
Yeah, go on.
That maybe people are like, is floated over their heads. Because I'm looking at some of these YouTube comments and I'm seeing all these guys like, yeah, it's good to see Dillian at his best again. Oh, this guy is the one guy that deserves a heavyweight title shot and all this dick sucking, yeah? And I'm thinking to myself, what I've just heard Eddie Hearn say post-fight after the Povetkin knockout, say the end goal for Dillian's career has always been to get him a title shot. Has always, like, they threw Wilder's name in there just to generate some hype and shit. Like, you know, Wilder DM'd him and he said he would never get a shot. All of this stuff, cool. Right after saying that, he turns around and he goes, but the end game for Dillian has always been getting a title shot. Mate, you've got a champion on your
But come on, let's be realistic now.
Those two are, they're tied up.
He's tied up from Tyson Fury, so that is out of the question. That fight is out of the question. Whereas your boy Wilder had that belt for however long and fought stupid people that he didn't need to fight. Bar Whyte, bar Ortiz. He could have fought Dillian before that, but he didn't. So don't bring AJ into it. Don't bring AJ. Don't try and skate over the fact that Wilder avoided to fight Dillian. Don't try and brush that under the carpet. You should have.
Are you actually trying to tell me that Dillian is a more dangerous opponent than Ortiz?
No,
he said
apart from Ortiz, all the other bums that Wilder.
Come on, Jared Washington, Jermaine Fatstavan.
Who are you going to blame for that? When you know in this game where people like Eddie Hearn, who have used other fighters' names and never done shit, even as far as this.
But he was mandatory, and Wilder, it was put in quotes on all the websites saying Wilder said he'll never fight Dillian, even though Dillian was mandatory. So why are you bringing Eddie Hearn to it? Bring your boy Wilder and tell us why he said that he would never fight Dillian when he was mandatory.
Bro, why would Wilder fight him when, all right, he's already locked horns with Ortiz twice, and now he's about to...
That was before that. It was before that. When he was fighting bums like Brazil. When he was fighting bums like Brazil. And Ariola. Chris Ariola. What was he fighting Ariola for?
Bro, listen, that was way before Deontay was even in the mix. That was when Deontay got knocked out by fucking AJ. Like, left hanging through the ropes with his armpits up in the air like some fucking Lynx advert, fam. Listen, bro. Deontay, he wasn't about fucking fighting these idiots, bro. When he was champion, what was his catchphrase? One name, one face, one division, one, but whatever the fuck his catchphrase.
I don't care. No. Don't bring that nonsense to me.
He was out there.
Don't bring that nonsense to me.
Making fights with Fury for unification.
Okay, fine. Wait, hold on. I'll let you carry on here. No, but that point, don't give me that. If Wilder was about one name, one face, remember, he was champion before all of these guys, before Fury, before AJ. He had the chance to go and beat the likes of flipping Charles Bloody Martin, who was in his damn country. He could have gone and got the rest of the belts after Fury left it. But he didn't want to get it. Don't tell him about one face when he realized boxing became popular. Don't give me that, mate. Sorry, I'm not allowing you to get away with that.
Charles Martin,
your boy.
Do not disrespect my boy, bruv. All right, he walks this, bruv. Listen, he walks this earth like a god, fam. Charles Martin should never be disrespected, bruv.
No, but we're not disrespecting him.
But listen, with the Charles Martin thing, that was out of Deontay's hands simply because Al Heyman done Eddie Hearn a favor by sending Charles Martin over to the UK.
Why is that? That should not have been the case.
That should not have been. Yeah, I agree. As much as I'm Deontay's my boy, I agree. They should have never sent Charles Martin over to the UK. They should have let Deontay take that belt off him. 100%. Whatever reason it was, I don't know. I can't elaborate on that. But I agree. That's one point where I do agree with you on. Why do Eddie Hearn and them man a favor like that, where you've already got a rising, budding star in the
rising star. At that point in time, even I was a true Deontay Wilder fan. I wanted to come and end Klitschko's reign. I was on his nuts, telling him go and become the face of boxing. But I'm sorry, he just didn't take the right moves.
No, I agree. Listen, his career almost reminds me of a Kell Brook career where there's been so many calamities along the way. Bro, you guys are acting like I didn't want that Dillian fight to happen earlier. I did, because I wanted the bro. We said this in the last podcast. Like, I wanted this hype train to end.
You know the biggest joke. Like, and so, people probably won't realize, bro. I like Deontay Wilder. I think Wilder beats Dillian Whyte. But my whole thing is that why didn't he just fight him so we can end this talk, bro?
Me too. I agree. Listen, I agree. But since we're talking about Dillian Whyte's career, he's also had some shit movements and shit management decisions made on his behalf.
Yes.
He has.
he has made. Listen, his team have also fucked him up as well because, like I've said, he had the opportunity to fight for a belt several times. Not only Deontay's belt, not only the WBC belt. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like Amir Khan hanging on that call from Floyd Mayweather. It's never gonna come, fam. It's never gonna. He's never gonna call you, so you better move on. It's like Kell Brook waiting on that call from Amir Khan to fight him. It's never happening, bro. So you just got to learn to move on. You got to move on to the next fight. You got to move on to the next champion. You're out here looking like a desperate ex-girlfriend. Do you know what I mean? Bringing up texts from 2 years ago, talking about it's 2,756 days. 49 hours, 576 minutes, and 23 seconds since I've been holding the interim silver intercontinental WBC mandatory belt. Like, who gives a fuck, bro? Who gives a fuck? Like, this is what I'm saying. You knocked the shit out of Chisora. AJ got in the ring. That was your opportunity to fight for a title at a time where there was no talk of AJ fighting Wilder. There was no talk of AJ fighting Fury. Because those two were fighting each other. Who the fuck did AJ go and fight, bro? What was my man's name? The guy that got failed the drug test for about like 6 hours.
Jerry Miller.
Yeah,
Jarrell, bro. My boy Jarrell. Yeah,
but that's where I will agree with you that Eddie Hearn messed him up. I can understand why Eddie did it because that was supposed to be the transition for AJ into the UFC, which we all know Jerry Miller failed the drugs test and then Andy Ruiz and Murder She Wrote, and that's why AJ in the UFC is not that. But yeah, that's one way where I will agree with you that fight could have been made, but I understand why it wasn't because they were looking for AJ to transcend into the US market, which is fair enough, but it is still a slight on Dillian where that rematch could have happened obviously after the first fight, where in which AJ knocked him out, but he was talking about the shoulder in the second round. We all remember that when he clipped AJ. And maybe if his shoulder wasn't hurt, he could have won that fight. So I get what you're saying on that point too.
But this is the thing though. I don't really know. AJ for me isn't a factor, regardless of him being a champion, because as fans, we've already seen it. And there's nothing to have let me think that it'd be any different because Whyte's not. I don't think Whyte's on AJ's level.
I don't think he's on any of those three. I don't think he's on any of those three.
I think he beat Wilder. Wilder for me gives you the biggest opportunity.
You must be smoking the finest crack out there, bro. How is bro? Listen, the performance listen. Everyone's talking about Dillian's performance. About he's great behind the jab, good body shots, went in for the kill. Bro, Wilder's been doing that for his last 11 title defenses.
Wilder's what jab? What jab, bro?
Wilder's got a decent. He has to have a decent jab because that jab sets up his only punch. But don't give me Wilder's been firing body shots, mate. His body shots are from flipping jab range and it does 0 damage and it sets up nothing. Don't give me none of that, mate.
I don't see no jab from Wilder's jab is probably about just a tiny bit over Dillian's jab. It's just out there, bro. It's just out there.
Bro, it doesn't matter. Like, this is the shit you guys are bickering over. Shit that doesn't matter. Like, who gives a fuck about how shit Dillian Whyte's jab was, which was actually so, like I said, it was hanging out there like a fucking... Bruv, I'm not even going to get into the... Do you know what I mean?
But that's the thing, you're right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But I believe... But he's on that level, though. I think he can beat Wilder.
Nah, I don't think he can. Listen,
but you want to see it though, don't you?
Listen, if Dillian is struggling, and I'm talking about struggling against guys like Oscar Rivas, struggling against guys like not Scott Parker, that's Fulham's manager. What's my man's name? Joseph Parker, yeah. If he's struggling against mans like Derek Chisora twice, if he's struggling against mans like Povetkin in the first fight, there is no doubt in my mind. I want this fight to happen. I really do. So this can be ended once and for all. Like, bro, even when Ortiz was dog walking my boy Wilder. And Ortiz is my boy, bro. Cuban Revolution for life, fam. You get me? Cuban Academy all day, every day, bro. Man like Rigo, man like Ortiz, my family, them. But even when he was getting dog walked by Ortiz, and even when he was getting dog walked by Fury in the first fight, yeah, he still looked dangerous, bro. And it proved, in retrospect, it proved, looking back upon reflection, he knocked out Ortiz twice. And he almost, by the grace of God, I don't know how the fuck, no one till this day knows how the fuck.
Nah, I don't know.
No one knows how the fuck.
Undertaker settings, bruv.
You're getting me saying, yeah, that I think Dillian could beat Wilder as me saying Wilder is not at that level. I'm saying that, first of all, Dillian, we've seen Dillian and AJ. I thought AJ outboxed him in that first match, and AJ probably even now is a better boxer than he was back then, while Whyte hasn't really improved to that level. I'm saying Wilder's going to give you an opportunity because, yes, he's got that meanness in his right hand, but he will give you an opportunity because in terms of defense, we've seen him. He can't defend.
He's got none.
Look in Fury. Look where his arm is. His arm is down here. He doesn't even protect his face. How can you not protect your face? He's literally walking with his arm down by his side.
Listen. I get why Dillian could be out of all. We know it's the big three. We all know that, right? I understand why out of all three of them, why Dillian will probably have the most confidence against Deontay Wilder, and it's the lack of head movement. It's the lack of defense, and his footwork isn't the best. So I can understand why Dillian. Not saying that I think Dillian wins, because I still think Wilder wins that fight for me, because I just don't think Dillian's good enough. But I can understand why Dillian would be most confident against Wilder, especially a Wilder coming off a loss against Tyson Fury. And it will be interesting to see. Obviously, he had the surgery and he's recovered. It'll be interesting to see if Wilder does accept that fight, what he's learned since his time off. Tooth, go for it.
Yeah, I want to see that fight. I want this discussion ended once and for all. I don't ever want to hear Dillian's name mentioned in the same breath as my boy Wilder, bro. And just to elaborate on what Truth said, yeah, Deontay's hands might be down fundamentally. He might not be the best boxer, but bro, many boxers, many great boxers in the past have done shit like that. Nassim comes to mind. Roy Jones comes to mind.
Yeah, but we saw what happened to Nassim.
Exactly.
But I'm talking about, look, talking about unorthodox. I'm not talking about, look, you might not rate him. Bro, we're not talking about greatness here. We're breaking it down technically now. We're looking at styles and being unorthodox. Do you know what I mean? Unorthodox fighters will always have that edge in the sense that they're not coming out there textbook. You know what I mean?
So it's an unknown.
It's an unknown. You don't know when he's going to throw that nuclear bomb at you. And for someone like Dillian, who still can't get his jab right, who leaves his jab hanging out, literally hanging out there, you tell me what the best counter for that is. An overhand, right?
Yeah.
Bro, what has Wilder made his career off? That overhand.
Of course, I don't disagree.
What cost Dillian in the first fight against a guy like Povetkin, leaving that jab out there for too long, and Povetkin caught him with an uppercut? This is what I mean. When we break it down technically, I just don't see it happening. He might have a few good rounds, but right now, even with the loss against Fury, right, like TJ said, it's still the top three for me. Hardly anyone.
I'm not saying he isn't a top three. I think his right hand alone makes him top three. Again, you're not getting my message. My message is that because of his style, because of that style, he gives every single person a chance. And Dillian has power. Dillian, he will have a strategy, and he said it before. He knows Wilder can't really box too good on the back foot. And the best thing to do against Wilder is to just shorten that range. Make sure he doesn't have that big swing with his right hand.
Yeah, but
whether he can do that all fight, that's a different question.
First of all, shortening that range is for someone who knows their boxing, like someone like a Fury, or even to some extent someone like an AJ who's been learning on the job, as we saw against Pulev. You know, he's stepped up his game in terms of learning shit, trying new shit, being slick, using footwork, head movement, setting up traps. Bro, Dillian tried that the first time against Povetkin and got absolutely sparkled, which made him revert back to the old Dillian, which he had to go out there and be the body snatcher and the brawler. All right? He's not going to be doing that shit against someone like Deontay. He's not. I'm telling you, if he tried that shit and failed the first time against a lesser opponent like Povetkin, he's definitely not going to come and try that out against someone that will throw atomic bombs and can.
He will have to. He will have to, because Povetkin's smaller. Against Wilder, you cannot afford to play on the jab range. That's suicide. I think Dillian will literally go in there with the point of keeping that distance close.
You got to play close. You got to fight the inside, go to the body shots and stuff. You got to slow Wilder down. If he fights at range, he's a sitting duck, because we all know what happens with Wilder's right hand. So Dillian's got to get close and get them body shots off.
But listen, there's been better boxers that have tried to go in at range with Wilder. Better boxers.
Oh yeah, we're not saying it's going to be easy. We're just saying that's what he has to do.
Bro, Ortiz.
Yeah, that's one. And Ortiz had success until his heart gave out.
He did, but that's what I mean. Bro, they don't Wilder. Bro, the first fight against Ortiz, when Wilder hit that uppercut, that was on the inside.
Yeah, but we're forgetting if Ortiz was 5 years younger, he would have never got that shot, because Ortiz would have finished him.
I agree. Listen, do you know what? If Ortiz was younger, I don't think none of these heavyweights will be around.
Nah, no chance. They'd all be done for.
Maybe Fury, but
maybe Fury's the only one. But Adrian Wilder, no chance.
You smell me, bro. At least we can agree on that, bro.
Of course.
If he was 5 years younger, bro, not even 10, just 5 years.
Just 5.
Just 5 years younger, bro.
I personally think 25, because I think this guy might be 65.
Trust me, bro. He's got that Cuban revolutionary passport, bro.
I'm telling you, bro. But guys,
just 5 years younger, I don't think none of these guys will be in the discussion, bro. But that's not the case. The case is he still caught Ortiz on the inside, bro, in that first fight. Granted, the second fight, he caught Ortiz at range. Do you get what I mean? When he blocked him on the forehead, bro. The hardest bone in your whole fucking body. The bone that's meant to withstand that sort of trauma, bro. He had him looking like fucking Sylvester with stars around his head, bro. Space Jam movie, shit like that, bro. Had him looking cross-eyed and shit, bro. I'm telling you. But when we talk about power, because you keep bringing up Dillian's power, bro, and this is where we're going to start busting some jokes, bro, yeah? You know what's coming up next, bro. You know what's coming up next. At least with Deontay, I could say it's God-given natural power from the heavens, bro. From the Zulu gods, bruv, yeah? With Dillian, bruv, why the fuck do you think that fight was happening in Gibraltar, bruv? Why do you think that fight was happening in Gibraltar, bruv? Who the fuck is coming out to Gibraltar to do drug testing, fam? Do you get what I mean?
Very fair enough. Look, I'm not even gonna go against you with that one. I don't know why it was in Gibraltar. We know what goes on in Gibraltar, though.
It's because they've all had their injections. That's why.
Bro, listen, we're talking about two guys who are notorious fucking multiple time drug test cheats. Do you know what I mean? Multiple time drug test cheats, bro. That fight was only happening in Gibraltar because there was no one going out there to fucking drug test him. My humble opinion, bro, I wouldn't be surprised if fucking Jarrell Miller and Dillian Whyte were fighting in fucking Estonia in their next fight.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! I'm ready!
Do you get what I mean?
Oh my days.
Faroe Islands.
Hey, no one's clearing Jarrell Miller, fam. I'm sorry. Guys got,
no
remember what you said?
No.
They got so much drugs in him that will flipping kill an elephant if you went one-on-one with elephant, fam.
I'm telling you, bro.
I'm telling you, bro. But yeah, bro. Just on the Mexican Homer Simpson, does anyone want to see that fight? Dillian versus Ruiz. It could be another transition fight over. It could be a transition fight over to US as well. Obviously, Ruiz coming off that loss to AJ and whatnot. Is it a fight that you lot will consider?
Yeah, it's a good fight. I think it's a good fight. Look, for me, I just want to see entertaining fights. Apart from obviously seeing the obvious, undisputed. Good fights is all I want to see. Good contenders fight good contenders. I just don't want to see no more Fury versus flipping Oscar Wilde or flipping, what's his name? Sharif or Sharef or whatever his name was from.
Tom Schwartz, Otto Wilde.
And that is like that kind of stuff, man. Forget that kind of stuff now. No number top 10 facing number 879 from Estonia. As man said.
Nah, it's true, bro. It's true. I mean, like I said, the heavyweight division right now, we hope and pray that we get the 2-fight deal done. They get a venue and we get a date. I think the only thing they're waiting for is to see what happens with Rona. I definitely think it's going to be a Wembley Stadium affair. If all goes well and we come out a Rona, it's the only way it can be. And I think that's what they're waiting for in terms of confirming that fight. I'd love to see Wilder versus Whyte. That's another one. I mean, put that love, bruv. Do a UFC, bruv. Have those 2 fights on the same card. Have those 2 fights on the same card.
I would love that, you know, man. I was thinking about it the other day. I was thinking
about
those
2 fights on the same card. I think it will be absolutely brilliant. Andy Ruiz is in the background as well. And they got some shit like Joe Joyce and music or some shit like that. No one cares about.
Hey, yo, boy.
No one gives a shit about them fights.
Hey,
and even Derek Chisora versus Parker is
coming
up.
That's the one. That's the one. Two. You know, that's the fight.
I told everybody. Derek Chisora is the key to getting back on the world title scene, bro.
Bro, hey, listen, boys, I'm getting a call of Vladimir Putin, bro. I've got to take this. You know what I mean, bro? Like, fucking hell, bro. Someone Novichok his motherfucking ass out.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this. Look at this. Somebody come and look at this. Look at this.
This guy is fucking dumb, bro.
I'm tired of this Chisora bullshit, bro. You get what I mean? There's like, get him out of here, bro.
No, don't be hating on the man called Chisora, but people are gonna have to wrap up there. I mean, I don't even think we barely talked about Povetkin and Whyte too, to be honest. but now I love the chat. I don't know what was on the undercard, something about cheesy, something or another. No one cares about them fights. But yeah, people, that's it from us. Before we go, as usual, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Get the subscriptions up, get the likes up, and let us know what you think in the comments. Was it a great performance from Dillian Whyte? Was Povetkin over the hill? Who do you want to see Dillian fight next? Is it Wilder? Is it Ruiz? Is it somebody else? Try and get Ortiz out of retirement or something, bring him in. you never know. Let us know your thoughts. We got review/preview show coming back as the Premier League comes back this weekend. So watch out for that. I know I've been promising you NBA. It is gonna come.
We'll get it. We get it done. We get it done next week. All the trades will be done. So
next week we're gonna get the NBA done for you. I know I've been promising it for ages, but we will get that done. As I said, we're gonna try and get all the mandem together so we can run back the WWE as well.
Yes,
I'm gonna try and run that back before WrestleMania. And obviously we got 261 coming up. That will be coming up in a few weeks as well. So, and then we got some new content that we're all gonna be discussing in the group chat to bring to you. Truth already can't win an idea. So it's onwards and upwards from here, people. But I want to say thank you very much, our guys, to Tooth and the Truth. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Salute.
It was a pleasure.
Indeed. As again, the clocks have gone forward. We're in this phase 2 of coming out of lockdown. So all you sports people that are out there, you can get back to doing competitive sport. And just as a side note, and this is a personal thing with Mr. KA. All this chat that you're doing in the group chat, bro. I'm putting it out there on the internet.
Called you out, KA now.
Listen, I done told you already, right? Find the date and the time, find the track, and we will do this. I'm tired of this going back and forth, you coming up with excuses, saying, we can't run on the track because there's disadvantage. I've never heard so much foolishness in my life. That's where you sprint on a track. Bro, I told him already, when I see you play basketball on a cricket pitch, then we can run on whatever surface you want. We're not running in bush, bruv. This ain't barefoot running. But that's all I'm gonna say on that.
It's official now. It's official. It's out there.
It's official now, people. It's coming. And when we get the contract signed and everything, it's gonna be all on the channel. It's gonna be on the socials as well.
The undercard to that, bro.
And the undercard to that, bro, is we're gonna have a sparring session with these two gentlemen right here, Tooth and the Truth as well. It seems like they've negotiated and sorted things out because they know that wherever they're supposed to do things, it's supposed to be done in a certain arena. So as much as we're talking about sport and professional sport and everything that's going on the TV or whatnot, we're coming up with stuff of our own as well. So people stay tuned. It's all about entertainment at the end of the day. And you are going to be thoroughly entertained when you see me absolutely annihilate Mr. KA. Don't ask me about these two. I don't know. That's not our business. I'm only the promoter for that. But yes,
Well,
people.
listen, man, what I'm saying is that fight only happens if you and Conor McKay get the race on.
Tell Conor McKay to sort it out. But people, stay safe out there. Be safe. Keep your family safe, and we shall see you very, very soon. Peace.